That is if he plays the full season without getting hurt.
It's funny. Good. He wasn't off to a great start with the Nats last year.
Yeah.
But he started picking it up, and then he went to LA and he couldn't lose, and there you go.
He's solid. He's a solid pitcher.
Listen, he's solid. He's just old.
Baseball.
But you know what? The one thing I like what the Mets did, and not necessarily the contract altogether, but I love these guys that they all want these 10-year deals, and these 12-year deals. And Scherzer couldn't get it. He's older.
Right.
I would do it exactly the way they just did it. I'll give you 40 for the first 3 years. Then I'm going down to 30. Then I'm going down to 20. Then I'm going the last 2 years you're making 10, and I can drop you if I want to trade you to somebody else. Because then by the end of the career, Albert Pujols has nowhere to go.
Right.
Because he's a shell of himself. He's a Hall of Famer that, all of a sudden these guys are all throwing 103 and his bat speed's at like 91. And that's where we are,
And he couldn't hang anymore, and he hung around
but he kills the payroll on the Angels, and that's what stinks.
Not only did he kill the payroll on the Angels, but I really think that hurt your legacy.
It does, because he was such a great player.
Right.
And if you watch him down the stretch, or anybody that's like 20 right now that watched his last few years, what's the big deal about this guy?
Right. Right.
Like Mickey Mantle was the most famous one. He hung on too long, finished as a 298 career hitter. And it bothered him till his death because he knew he was an over 300 hitter. But because he hung on, he finished his career average at 298. Don't hang on. If you're done, you're done.
Let it go.
Like us. We have no talent. We're done.
Oh, dude, I've been washed up. I was actually washed up out of the womb.
There was no mystery there.
There was no mystery that anything was going with me.
So now we talk football, I guess, no?
Dude, we're in our playoffs.
Yes.
And I pulled out a victory, big victory.
I lost.
Oh.
But I still maintain, pretty good seeding. I think I'm the 3. I'm going to look right now because I should know this already.
Yeah, you are the home team against the 6.
I play Gino and you play your son, correct?
Correct.
So it's the battle. It's me and Gino who have known each other since we're 5.
Right.
And you and your son who you've known since the day he was born.
Yeah. So which is awesome. So
and at this moment I'm an underdog by 9 points. But anyway, we'll take it from there.
Are you really?
I'm the 3, and he was the 1 seed most of the year, and he's the defending champ. So I'm gonna have to earn my way through this.
Right now I'm taking a look. I'm the underdog by 5 points.
Yeah, you and I are expected to lose, but I do have some moves to make, so we'll see what happens.
The moves to make. What kind of moves can you make now?
No. I mean, listen, like I played like the Seahawk defense last week against Texans, and I'm not playing them this week against the Rams. I'll play Buffalo against Carolina, and I'll jump 9 points, because right now I'm a 9-point underdog, and after that I will be like a half a point underdog, and then I'll bring Goddard in for Conklin, and I'll pick up another 3 points, and I'll be the favorite. So it's not really like I have a lot to do. I'm just saying.
Right.
But it'll be exciting. It'll be close for both of us. It should be 2 good games.
Right. My problem is that he's got Amari Cooper and Waddle going against the New York Football Giants and the Jets. So those two are going to hurt quite a bit.
Here's the only blessing you have. Only blessing you have in the Jet game. And I'm not saying the Jets will win. Trust me. Right. All I'm saying is that you never know how a team comes out after a bye week. Some of them come off really slow. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping Waddle and the Dolphin offense, I should say, gets off to a slow, sluggish start. I mean, they'll pick it up, no doubt about it. The Giant D, wow, really hard to watch. And watching that game last week was really tough to watch. The Jet game was brutal, too. At the half, the Jets were in at 10-6 somehow, but it was like you knew that they were going to get blown out by a quarterback they can't throw. The Giants, on the other hand, had no answer for Herbert last week.
None.
And he's a great quarterback. I'm not trying to downplay it, but wow, the Giants look like they were fifth graders playing against the varsity last week.
Congratulations to Glennon, who's been in the league 8-9 years, scored his very first touchdown.
I mean, he actually threw the ball downfield a little bit more this week, at least. He didn't check down every time.
Right.
Saquon, did as good as Saquon's going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know I don't know what kind of career he has ahead of him. I mean, he's, now he's an older back in the league. It's kind of funny.
What was kind of funny this morning, because I'm working from home right now. So I was watching, was it Get Up? I think I was watching Get Up on ESPN this morning, and they had who they thought the draft picks, how the draft was going to go the first 10 rounds. They had the Giants at, I think, 5 and 7, and they had the Giants picking defensive players at 5 and 7.
Get an offensive lineman in there.
We need offensive linemen. It doesn't matter. I want 2 offensive linemen.
Listen, the best draft that the Jets have had in the last 15 was the year they got Brick and Mangold in the first round.
Right.
They got their center and their left tackle. And you know what? It wasn't sexy, wasn't fun. No, nobody knew what the Brickashaw meant, nothing like that. And Mangold was a star at center, and you were like, okay, it was a foundation builder.
And
it's not sexy, but it does work.
It does. Look at Mangold now, though. He's going to my friend's tailgate party.
Yeah, pretty much. Nick will do anything for a quarter. He's the guy giving the handy and horrible bosses.
I think he's actually trying to get he's selling some kind of barbecue sauce or some crap.
No, absolutely. And he was a great center. I mean, the Jets have actually always done relatively well with that position. I don't like the kid they have now, McGovern, but between Mawai and Mangold, I mean, they've always really performed relatively well in that position. Jim Sweeney back in the day, it's always a position we've done well with. I don't think McGovern's the answer, though.
Right. Again, the Cincinnati Bengals fall behind big, fight back to lose in overtime.
No, the thing with Cincinnati is, they have offensive talent. It just kind of stuns you that it doesn't work out the way it should. San Francisco has been playing a little better the last few weeks, no doubt about it. Right now they're in the playoffs. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see as the NFC West kind of beats each other up if San Francisco and can hang in there. But I think that they might. I mean, their defense, their front is good.
Right.
If you can give protection, you can beat them. But the front is really good. Did you catch any of the Buffalo Tampa game, or were you glued to that Giant debacle?
No, we were jumping back and forth and enjoying both games.
If there was ever a friendlier whistle than the whistle the Bucs were getting the entire game, I don't know what it is. I'm not a Bills fan. I root for the Jets. So the AFC East, all those teams suck to me. But Oh my God, can Tampa do no wrong? It's like watching the Patriots who never commit a holding penalty, but they rush for 300 yards every week. With guys getting tackled in the backfield. The Bills got the Bills got screwed on every close call. It was kind of like, wow. Listen, I'm not saying that they should have won or could have won or would have won. Right. Tampa's a great team. I just always find it a little ironic that whistle was a little friendly on the Tampa side, I thought, for a guy that didn't have a dog in the fight.
Right. Yeah. You know what? It's they want Brady in the Super Bowl again.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Tampa's a sexy team. Last night was probably, it was a great game, by the way, if you saw the Rams and the Cardinals.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
The Cardinals have won every road game they've played by double digits, and yet have lost 3 games at home.
Right.
I mean, there's certain things you can't make up.
It's hot.
And they play the Lions this week, so a double-digit road win seems somewhat plausible. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Against a beat up Detroit team who wasn't playing many people last week either. It's kind of a crazy week now because you sit there. We have 2 Saturday games this week,
right?
You got the Patriots and the Colts, which is a really good game actually. The Colts need it,
right?
And then you have on the other side you have the Browns and the Raiders.
And now you got a problem now with the COVID stuff with the Browns.
With the Browns, with the 9 guys, and the Raiders just have their own problems all season long.
They
lost 48-9 in the divisional, battle. 2 teams that hate each other. They didn't show up.
Congratulations to all you Raider fans who were all excited after that start. As per usual, you always have a great first half of the season. It's just the second half that you just saw.
When teams realize what you're doing. The thing is, though, the one thing that's happened fantasy-wise is Hunter Renfrow has become a must-start every freaking week.
Well, who else are they going to throw to?
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying Hunter Renfrow, he's become that next level, I don't know, all the Patriot little guys, Edelman, he's, Kravett, he's become that slot guy that just can't be covered. He's Wes Welker. He's become those guys. Even Beasley in Buffalo, same way. They just can't get covered. He's that guy. But at the slot, he caught, 12 balls for 120 yards last week? Something like that. It's
big game.
Very impressive. He's no Cooper Kupp, but he's very impressive.
I just got yelled at for being loud.
I'm probably the louder one, so I'll tone it down.
Well, no, she can't. She can't hear you. She can hear me. In between coughs, she can hear me.
Well, she's tougher than we are, so we're just going to back down.
You were yelling at.
I'm yelling at Porterhouse, dear.
That's what Maddie said.
Yeah.
Hi, Mrs. Powers.
You want to yell at him?
Feel free. We can cough at each other first, and then you can yell.
That's right. Yeah, he's still in pain. He's still dealing with stuff. So, but anyway, as you said, we look forward to this week. You've got the Thursday game. You've got 2 Saturday. You got the Sunday slate, and then of course the Monday night game. Things are getting exciting as we head in towards the playoffs, Week 15, and let's take a peek at some of these games, my friend.
Let's do that. I mean, you got to love that they saved this amazing game on Monday night, the Bears and the Vikings. The Vikings are in the race at least. I'll give them that. But
they can't flex the Monday night game, right?
No, they can flex the Sunday, and they should have, because Saints and Bucks doesn't seem that sexy anymore either, does it? Even though the Saints beat them the first time.
Doesn't matter. It's got the Bucks in it. Doesn't matter.
It's got the Bucks, so they're going to keep it. But there are better games. We look at we talked about a little bit about the Saturday games, but the Thursday game might be the biggest game of the week. Chiefs-Chargers.
Okay.
Chiefs win, they have a 2-game lead in the division. Chargers win, they sweep the Chiefs, and they're tied, and they have the edge for the home field advantage in the first round.
Gotcha.
Now, I think it's an offensive game. Even though the Chiefs' D has been playing so great lately, and the Chargers' O has been hit or miss, you got to imagine that both offenses will move the ball relatively well this week. I think you're playing the skill guys. I mean, I know you haven't seen as much out of Kelsey and Hill as you have in the past, and Edwards-Helaire scored 2 touchdowns, but he only had 37 yards rushing. But you still got to play those guys and
right.
Mahomes. And on the other side, Eckler was a little banged up, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's playing. Jackson played a decent amount last week, I thought, against the Giants, right?
Right, yeah. I was
a decent amount. And so if Eckler doesn't play, Kelly is the third string running back. Josh Kelly out of UCLA, as I'm wearing the sweatshirt today. So,
nice. There's no way.
So you might look to pick him up if Eckler for some reason does not play this week.
There's no way Eckler is not playing.
Well, it's a Thursday game, so it's a quick turnaround. I'd be stunned if he doesn't play. I'm just saying he left the Giant game because the game was over probably in the third quarter.
KC's favored by 3. I think they beat the spread.
Well, the Chiefs, a 3-point favorite. It's going to be. Well, you know what the funny thing is that last year anyway, each team won the road game. This year, the Chargers already won in Arrowhead. So if that continues, the Chiefs will win this one. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think spread wise, I'd probably lean toward the Chiefs, but it's a close game. This could be a 3. They're both playing for the division, right? And if the Chargers lose, they fall back into a tie with everybody else that they're a game ahead of.
They're in the Quagmire.
Yep, that Quagmire sucks.
Giggity. Oh yeah. You got the Raiders going up against the Browns. Browns are favored by only 3, but
it was 6 yesterday. But then everybody went on COVID.
Right, including Landry's on it as well now.
Yeah, I mean the funny thing is about the Browns, you're watching Odell Beckham play pretty well for the Rams right now. The funny part is because he's not the main guy, right? So he can just blend in as the third receiver, and he's fine behind Van Jefferson. And he's finding his role. But the Browns, I mean, the running game is still really effective. The Raiders' defense is awful. I mean, you got to, you're still playing Chubb, and I don't think you play Baker against anybody, but this could be the matchup if you feel like you don't have a great quarterback matchup with your other quarterback.
I think Hunt is questionable to out at this point, but we still have some time.
And then Las Vegas. Sorry. The Browns D played very well last week, but they still almost gave that game away at the end. They scored a defensive touchdown. They caused a few turnovers. The thing I've come to learn is Baker Mayfield's just not that good a quarterback. No. And I think Derek Carr's a little bit better than the stats will show over the last couple of weeks, but I don't know if I trust him in a playoff spot here. I would rather not play either quarterback, but I mean, Mayfield could have the matchup just because if you don't have a quarterback you trust. Right. I would think that the Browns, if they get most of their players playing, should win this game, but we'll find out.
I think even without most of their players playing, they should win this game.
Well, the Raiders, The Raiders suck, and then all of a sudden they go out and beat the